In the bustling metropolis of Liberty City, Luis Lopez was known as a man of many talents. He was a skilled dancer, a charming socialite, and a savvy businessman. But underneath his suave exterior, Luis harbored a dark secret. He was also a ruthless enforcer for his mentor, Tony Prince, the owner of the infamous Maisonette 9 nightclub. U003CBR, U003E, U003CBR, U003E. Luis had always been wary of Mr. Santo, a shady businessman who had a tight grip on the city's underworld. Santo's ruthless tactics and lack of ethics made him a dangerous man to be around, and Luis knew that sooner or later, he would have to deal with him. U003CBR, U003E, U003CBR, U003E. As Santo's influence grew, so did his villainous actions. He would double-cross anyone who stood in his way, using dirty tactics and deception to maintain his power. It wasn't long before he had Tony Prince in his sights, and Luis knew that they were both in danger. U003CBR, U003E, U003CBR, U003E. One fateful night, as Santo's goons closed in on them, Luis made a split-second decision. Drawing on his mischievous nature and quick thinking, he devised a plan to take down Santo once and for all. With a smirk on his face and a glint in his eye, Luis set out to confront the villainous snake in the grass. U003CBR, U003E, U003CBR, U003E. Sneaking into Santo's hideout, Luis found himself face to face with the man himself. In a tense standoff, words were exchanged, threats were made, and bullets were fired. But in the end, it was Luis who emerged victorious, his sense of justice and loyalty to Tony driving him to take down the evil that had plagued the city for far too long. U003CBR, U003E, U003CBR, U003E. As Santo lay lifeless at his feet, Luis felt a mix of emotions wash over him. Relief, satisfaction, and a sense of accomplishment all mingled together. He had done it. He had rid Liberty City of one of its most nefarious villains, and in doing so, had reshaped the criminal landscape for the better. U003CBR, U003E, U003CBR, U003E. But as he stood there, surrounded by the remnants of his battle with Santo, Luis couldn't help but feel a pang of guilt. He knew that his actions had been brutal, that they had crossed ethical boundaries that society deemed unacceptable. And yet, he also knew that sometimes, in order to do what was right, one had to make difficult choices. U003CBR, U003E, U003CBR, U003E. As he walked away from the scene of his triumph, Luis knew that he would always carry the weight of his actions with him. But he also knew that he had done something truly heroic, something that would protect the people of Liberty City from the likes of Mr. Santo for years to come. U003CBR, U003E, U003CBR, U003E. And so, as the sun rose over the city, casting a golden glow over the streets below, Luis Lopez walked away, a hero in his own right, a man who had reshaped the fate of a city through his bravery, his cunning, and his unyielding sense of justice. And as he disappeared into the shadows, his legacy lived on, a beacon of light in a world filled with darkness. In the bustling metropolis of Liberty City, Luis Lopez was known as a skilled operator in the criminal underworld. Working alongside his mentor, Tony Prince, they navigated the treacherous world of nightclubs and shady dealings with finesse. However, their biggest challenge came in the form of Mr. Santo, a vile and malevolent figure who had his fingers in every illicit pie in the city. U003CBR, U003E, U003CBR, U003EMR. Santo was a snake in human form, his eyes glinting with malice as he manipulated and betrayed those around him. His clubs and rackets were a front for all sorts of illegal activities, and he had no qualms about destroying anyone who stood in his way. Luis Lopez had seen his fair share of villains, but Mr. Santo was in a league of his own. U003CBR, U003E, U003CBR, U003E. As Santo's grip on Liberty City tightened, Luis Lopez began to see the true extent of his evil ways. He was willing to do whatever it took to stay on top, even if it meant backstabbing his own allies. The final straw came when Mr. Santo made a move to have both Luis and Tony Prince eliminated for good. U003CBR, U003E, U003CBR, U003E. Faced with the threat of their own demise, Luis Lopez knew he had to act. Drawing on his cunning and resourcefulness, he hatched a plan to take down Mr. Santo once and for all. With a mix of strategy and audacity, he managed to corner Santo and deliver the final blow that would rid Liberty City of this nefarious figure. U003CBR, U003E, U003CBR, U003F. Moment was tense, the air thick with anticipation as Luis Lopez stared down his adversary. In a swift motion, he pulled the trigger, putting an end to Mr. Santo's reign of terror once and for all. As the echoes of the gunshot faded away, a sense of relief washed over Luis Lopez. He had done something truly heroic, saving the city from the grasp of a monster. U003CBR, U003E, U003CBR, U003I. In the aftermath of Santo's demise, Liberty City began to shift. With the villainous snake out of the picture, a new era of peace and prosperity dawned. Luis Lopez had reshaped the criminal landscape, paving the way for a brighter future for all who called the city home. U003CBR, U003E, U003CBR, U003E. But amidst the chaos and danger, Luis Lopez remained a beacon of light. His mischievous ways and playful demeanor masked a heart of gold, always willing to stand up for what was right and protect those in need. His heroism had not only changed the face of Liberty City but had also revealed the true depth of his character. U2013. A man of bravery, loyalty, and unwavering determination. U003CBR, U003E, U003CBR, U003E. As the sun set on Liberty City, casting a warm glow over the streets once plagued by darkness, Luis Lopez stood tall as a symbol of hope and resilience. His journey had been one of twists and turns, of highs and lows, but through it all, he had emerged victorious. 2013, a true hero in a city of shadows.